are listening to Therapy Plus, a mental health podcast.
The views and opinions expressed by the guest speaker on this episode are solely those of the guest. The content shared is intended for informational purposes only and should not be construed as professional advice or endorsement.
Hi everyone, my name is Mike Ng. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine, a certified corrective exercise specialist, and a master teacher of Tai Chi, Bagua, and Qigong. It's a pleasure to be invited onto the Therapy Plus podcast to introduce you all to the world of Chinese medicine. Now, whenever I do talks like this, one of the first questions I often get is how I got into this all. And the answer is actually quite simple. I was born into it. My grandfather was a Chinese medicine doctor and martial artist in southern China, and so I was immersed in the culture and traditions of it all from a very, very young age. Over the past 30 plus years, I've had the honor to study with and inherit the skills and knowledge of a handful of experts, masters and grandmasters in the martial arts, medicine, movement, meditation, as well as various other forms of wellness practices. I bring all of this experience to my current roles both as the co-founder of Optum Health and Acupuncture, an integrative medicine clinic in San Francisco that I run with my sister, and as president of the Tai Chi Bagua Wellness Institute, where I've worked with hundreds of individuals, organizations, and companies to promote holistic mind-body health. So the topic of today, Chinese medicine and mental health. So let's get started. Traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM for short, has a long and rich history dating back over 2,500 years to ancient China, where it developed through a combination of empirical observations, philosophical principles, and early medical practices. One of the earliest known texts of TCM is the Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon, or the Huangdi Neijing. Written around the 3rd century BCE, this text laid the foundation for many of the core principles that form the basis of our understanding of health and disease in Chinese medicine, such as concepts of qi, yin, and yang, and the 5 elements, all of which we'll delve into in today's talk. TCM is a holistic system of medicine. So rather than focusing only on certain specific symptoms, TCM looks at the entire person as a whole, emphasizing the interconnectedness of the mind, the body, and the spirit. TCM is based on the belief that health is the result of balance. More specifically, the balanced flow of qi. So then a common question I get is, what exactly is qi? Qi is often translated as the vital energy or life force that flows throughout our bodies. It's the energy that animates and sustains all forms of life. In TCM, good health depends on the smooth, balanced flow of qi. When the flow of our qi becomes blocked, deficient, or imbalanced, this, however, is when illness can occur. Now, qi isn't a physical substance in the same way that our blood and our tissues are. Rather, it's an energetic force which influences our physiological functions, our emotions, and our overall well-being. There's different types of qi, such as our wei qi, which is our immunity, the protective energy that defends our body against external pathogens. There's also our zhen qi, which is the essential energy that's generated from the food that we eat and the air that we breathe. And there's also yin qi, which is the nutrient energy that exists within our blood that helps to support our body's metabolic functions. Qi flows along pathways called meridians, and the quality, quantity, and movement of qi is largely regulated by the balance of yin and yang. Some of you may be familiar with or have heard of these terms before. Yin and yang, they represent two opposite but complementary forces that exist in virtually everything. They're interdependent and ever-changing. Yin is often associated with qualities like coolness, stillness, and darkness. It provides the material foundation for life, such as our blood and our body fluids, as well as the body's internal structure, including our organs and tissues. Yang, on the other hand, is associated with warmth, activity, and light. It provides the dynamic force needed to move and circulate our qi. The balance of yin and yang is crucial for maintaining harmony and health. When either yin or yang becomes excessive or deficient, it can lead to disharmony and illness. For instance, when yin is insufficient, yang can become excessive, leading to a rise in heat and overactivity. This can present symptoms like fever and inflammation. There can also be mental and emotional implications as well, such as restlessness and anxiety. On the other hand, when there's a deficiency in yang, there can be stagnation, coldness, and the inability to move freely. This can lead to physical symptoms like heaviness and cold extremities. It can also lead to other symptoms like fatigue and depression. In TCM, qi, yin, and yang are inseparable. Qi is what moves and nourishes yin and yang, and the balance between yin and yang affects the flow and the quality of qi in our bodies. All of these forces need to be in harmony in order for us to be healthy. In addition to the concept of qi and the principles of yin and yang, the 5 elements also play a key role in our understanding of balance and health in Chinese medicine. Sometimes referred to as the 5 phases or the wuxing, the 5 elements consist of wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Together, these 5 elements form an essential system for understanding the functioning of the body, its organs, and its energy. Each element corresponds to a specific organ system, and each organ is associated with a specific emotion. Imbalances or blockages in these organs can lead to emotional disturbances, just as unresolved emotions can also affect the organs. Prolonged emotional disturbances can also have deeper psychological effects, disturbing what is known in Chinese medicine as the 5 spirits. Just as each of the 5 elements corresponds to a specific organ system and emotion, each element is also associated with a specific spirit. The 5 spirits in Chinese medicine are vital aspects of our emotional, mental, and physical well-being, and they work together to form a harmonious whole, influencing our consciousness, emotions, and behaviors. So now let's look at each of the 5 elements individually. And we'll start with wood, because wood represents the energy of growth, expansion, and movement. It corresponds to the liver and gallbladder. Wood governs the smooth flow of qi throughout the body, particularly in the emotional and digestive realms. The emotion associated with wood is anger, and the spirit of wood is the hun, or the ethereal soul. Our ethereal soul is our ability to make long-term decisions, such as our plans and vision for the future. It's our connection to something greater, and is closely related to our higher thinking skills and creativity. The hun is also seen as the part of our spirit that moves freely in our dreams, as linked to our sense of purpose in life. When the liver is balanced, we can be patient and kind yet assertive. We're critical thinkers and creative creatures. When the liver is out of balance, however, it can lead to feelings of frustration and irritability. Over time, this can lead to emotional outbursts or feelings of resentment. It can also disturb our hun, leading to mental confusion, indecisiveness, and a lack of direction in life. Physically, this can also manifest as headaches, muscle tension, or digestive issues. Now, after wood comes fire, because wood is what fuels the fire. The fire element is energetic, warm, and transformative. It corresponds to the heart and the small intestine. In TCM, the heart is the seat of the mind and emotions. As such, fire represents the body's ability to process and circulate qi, particularly in the context of the circulation of blood, emotions, and mental clarity. The emotion associated with fire is joy, and the spirit of the fire element is the shen, which governs our consciousness and overall emotional well-being. Now, in moderation, joy is healthy for the heart, and a fire element that is balanced gives way to feelings of love, happiness, and enthusiasm. Excessive joy and excitement or extreme emotional highs, however, can deplete the heart's qi and result in feelings of agitation, restlessness, even hallucinations or manic behavior. It may also present as physical symptoms like palpitations or insomnia. On the other hand, a lack of joy or excessive sorrow can weaken our spirit, leading to depression and a lack of mental clarity. And after fire is earth, because fire creates ash, which nourishes earth. The earth element is nourishing, stabilizing, and grounding. It relates to the spleen and stomach, and therefore it's responsible for the production of qi and blood from the food and drink that we consume. Earth is essential for digestion and for the transformation of nutrients into usable energy. The emotion associated with earth is worry, and the spirit of earth is the yi, or our intellect. The yi is what governs our memory, concentration, and ability to stay focused. When the earth element is balanced, we can be nurturing and display compassion and empathy. Excessive worry, overthinking, or anxiety, though, can weaken our spleen, leading to feelings of being stuck or unsettled. We may find it difficult to think clearly, and we may experience issues with our memory and focus. On a physical level, we may experience bloating, poor digestion, and fatigue. And in some cases, a weak spleen can also give way to the development of obsessive-compulsive behaviors. After earth is metal, because earth produces minerals, which are then refined into metal. Metal corresponds to the lungs and large intestine in Chinese medicine. It's related to the body's ability to control and transform qi, especially in terms of respiration and elimination. Metal is what governs the body's ability to inhale qi as well as eliminate waste products, and in doing so maintains the balance of fluids in our bodies. Grief is the emotion associated with metal, and the spirit of metal is the po, or our corporeal soul. The corporeal soul is the more physical, tangible aspect of our soul, reflecting our physical sensations and our primal instincts. When metal is balanced, we are grounded. Our breath is unlabored, and we enjoy a sense of mental clarity. We also have the ability to let go of attachments and emotions as necessary. When metal is out of balance, however, it can lead to feelings of sadness, loss, or excessive attachment. We may feel a sense of emotional heaviness or numbness. Grief can also deplete the lungs and affect our breathing. We may experience chest tightness, shortness of breath, and a cough that just won't go away. And if left unprocessed, grief can not only lead to more serious chronic respiratory problems, but can also block our ability to properly express our emotions. Following metal is water, because metal condenses moisture, creating water. The water element is foundational. It represents stillness and the body's deep vitality and reserves. It governs the storage and circulation of essential fluids throughout the body and is responsible for the activation of our body's energy. It's water's role to support and nourish all of the other elements. Water corresponds to the kidneys and the urinary bladder. And in TCM, the kidneys are considered to be the root of our vitality and the source of our qi. The kidneys store our essence, and in doing so, they control our growth, development, and reproduction. The emotion associated with water is fear, and the spirit of water is the zhi, or our willpower, our determination, and perseverance. It's our ability to make decisions, take action, and follow through on our goals. Zhi is linked to our drive and motivation in life, and it's also a key factor in our physical strength and endurance. A balanced water element lays the foundation for strength and resilience. When water is out of balance, fear can manifest as anxiety, insecurity, or phobias. We can lack willpower and the ability to set and pursue our goals. Fear, especially chronic fear, can weaken the kidneys, leading to symptoms like urinary problems, fatigue, as well as low back and knee pain. Excessive fear or anxiety can also impact our overall vitality, resulting in exhaustion and feeling emotionally drained. Now, after water, we return to wood again because water is what nourishes wood to grow, and the cycle begins all over again. So as we can see through these 5 elements, our emotions, spirits, and organs, they're all intertwined. Each can impact the others. If our emotions are not balanced, they can cause disruptions in the corresponding organs and spirits. Therefore, maintaining emotional balance is essential for the proper function of the body and vice versa. Now that we've gone through each of the individual elements, I'd like to take the time to reinforce 2 very important points. The first is that we must remember in Chinese medicine, qi, yin, yang, and the 5 elements, these are not static concepts. Instead, they interact in a dynamic, cyclical way that ensures balance and health. And to see this interplay at work, we can look at a few different examples. The first is what's known as the generating cycle, which I alluded to earlier, and it reflects the nourishing flow of energy amongst the elements, where wood generates fire. Fire generates earth. Earth generates metal. Metal generates water, and water generates wood, and we see the cycle begin all over again. The 5 elements also control each other in order to avoid stagnation and to prevent any one element from becoming too overactive. This controlling cycle creates a balanced flow of qi amongst the elements. For instance, wood controls earth. And here we can think of the roots of trees preventing soil erosion. Fire controls and can melt metal. Earth controls and absorbs water, preventing flooding. Metal controls and can cut through wood. And water controls and extinguishes fire. Each element's qi also has its own yin and yang aspects as well, which of course need to be in harmony for our bodies to function properly. For instance, wood needs both nourishment, which is yin, and movement, which is yang, to grow. Also, since fire is more yang in nature, it needs cooling yin to prevent it from becoming too excessive. And earth needs the dynamic force of yang to digest and transform the food that we eat into usable energy. The second point I'd like to make is that in clinical practice, imbalances in the 5 elements are often a mixed bag, meaning that the disharmony is often not limited just to one element. Instead, multiple or even all of the elements are usually involved. Now, because TCM is an individualized medicine, results will vary from patient to patient. Some patients will achieve lasting results in a shorter period of time, while others may need a little bit longer. The most important thing to remember when seeking treatment is to find a licensed practitioner. I cannot stress this enough. In the United States, licensed acupuncturists are required to have graduated from an accredited program, and this usually involves at least 3,000 hours of both didactic and clinical hands-on practice. They're also required to pass licensure examinations and to meet specific requirements set by the state in which they practice. Licensed TCM practitioners will use a variety of diagnostic tools, including feeling your pulse and observing your tongue, to curate a customized treatment plan designed specifically for you. Because again, TCM is a holistic and individualized medicine, so there's no cookie cutter or one-size-fits-all protocols. Licensed practitioners also have the proper training to safely administer acupuncture treatment and prescribe herbal medicine. For those of you in the United States and located in the state of California, I do run a private practice with my sister, Dr. Jennifer Ng, called Optum Health and Acupuncture in San Francisco. We offer in-office as well as telehealth appointments. And as I also mentioned earlier, I'm a teacher of Tai Chi and Qigong. I've been practicing these arts for over 30 years now. I currently offer in-person and online private lessons and do many corporate wellness workshops as well. We'll also soon be launching an online-based learning platform integrating movement as well as other modalities of Chinese medicine to manage stress, chronic inflammatory diseases, as well as a host of other conditions. So please be on the lookout for that. I welcome you to reach out if you'd like to work with our team to achieve optimal health and well-being through Chinese medicine. Until we meet again, I wish you all the best. This is Dr. Mike Ng signing out. Take care, everyone.